I'm making this video today to share with others my experience of Wyndham vacation resorts, specifically in Panama City Beach, Florida. I initially received a call from a representative at Wyndham offering me and my family a cheap trip to any of their locations for a low price. In order for us to visit their resort, all we would have to do is pay for the room taxes when we get there, and they ask us to sit through a 2-hour presentation showing off their resort with absolute no obligation to buy anything. We would also be receiving a $75 American Express gift card, which seemed like a great deal, but if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is, and this is where it started for us. My husband and I and our 16-month-old toddler arrived and were greeted by a man named Joshua Chernock, who took us to the presentation room. He was very charismatic, very friendly, and he began the presentation by trying to find out what's important to us as vacationers, giving us background information about Wyndham and why it's the perfect choice if you like to vacation and plan on taking more vacations over the next 25 years. He stated that Wyndham was not a timeshare. I started out knowing nothing about timeshares. He proclaimed that Wyndham would end up paying for itself with the money that you save due to the fact that it's handed down in your family to your children and then your children's children once you're dead and gone, which seemed worth it to me to listen. So I began to listen with intent, wanting more information on Wyndham. He proceeded to get serious with us. He took a seat and explained a story of how his mother had taken ill with Parkinson's disease, and his family felt that this disease may inhibit her ability to enjoy life. Because of becoming Wyndham owners, his mother, he stated with tears in his eyes, she's now able to enjoy meaningful vacations. I do not know if this story that he told us is true or not, and I will by no means belittle a person's disease or illness, but I feel very deceived by Wyndham and specifically Joshua Chernock and his techniques that he used in order to lure us in. We were divided and proceeded to meet one-on-one with a salesman, which for my husband and I ended up being Mr. Chernock. We visited a resort room. We went through the process of the points and how to buy point packages, how to use the points, and the amount that we would want to spend monthly, which was based on our credit. He did say that they would need to pull our credit. It was a soft credit pull to lure us in. He showed us the maps of all of the locations, the beautiful resort locations that we would be able to take, countless amount of vacations we would be able to take with the vacation packages for low prices. We would also be members of a sister company through Wyndham called RAI. He pulled us to the side and told my husband and I that he was not supposed to support or mention this to others, but we would actually end up making money with Wyndham ownership because we could purchase these RAI last calls, and through Wyndham as owners we would only pay $199 for a 7-night stay, and we could then in turn sell them to friends, family, put them on Craigslist, Facebook, or eBay for over double the price, or even name our price. He then told us that he would give us full instructions on how to do this, how to make profit off of it. He told us to email him, call him at any time. He would give us his personal phone number, his personal information. That way we could contact him and he would send us the information and the instructions on how to make profit off of it. All he asked of us was not to mention that he told us that, because it was not normal practice for Wyndham representatives to do that. So we went through with the soft credit pull to see if we would even qualify. We were approved, but neither nor my husband or I were very keen on the idea at this moment. we had a lot of concerns, and we went over them with Mr. Chernock. The money per month that we would owe, the amount of time we actually even travel, and the possibility that we would want to get out of this down the road if that might come up later on. So we decided that we did not want to buy into Wyndham. But he had answers to all of our concerns. He said that not only would we be saving money with these RAI last calls, we would also be helping our credit score. And the way we would do that is because Wyndham is considered deeded real estate that increases in its value over time because it's looked at as a wise financial investment to creditors. This is a lie. Among the other lies that he told us, we asked about the way it would affect our credit due to wanting to possibly move or buy another house pretty soon, and Mr. Chernock suggested that we purchase Wyndham ownership, refinance the amount we owe at a home bank to have a lower interest rate. But since coming back home, we found out that our bank would not refinance the amount I owe because it has affected our credit score negatively. So among the other lies he told, it was simple to get out of. If we wanted to get out of it and we were unhappy, we could always sell back our portion to the company at any time, which I have found out by calling Wyndham and speaking to numerous representatives that this is not the case, that we must pay off our ownership, the contract in full. Then we must wait 5 years, and then they will buy back our portion for 20% of the worth of it at that time. I also specifically asked Mr. Chernock what other fees there would be expected of us besides the monthly payments. He said nothing about annual fees. He continued to make it seem as if we would be crazy if we did not leave without becoming Wyndham owners. So this is about the time that our toddler, about 3 hours in to this presentation, he's running and yelling and hungry and impatiently waiting to get out of there. We told Mr. Chernock that we needed to go home, think about it, or leave for the day, think about it, and we would come back the next day and talk about it. But of course this would not be possible because these prices would only be good for the moment, is what they told us. And so we told them that we were just going to have to leave, that we did not want to purchase. He began to talk with another salesman. He told us that he would check to see what else they could do to make the price easier to bear. They dropped the price for us. They lowered also the amount of points we would be getting, but we would end up getting a package of bonus points for taking the offer today. I was not 100% on that. He reassured me once again that although it was a lower amount of points, we would be able to get 2 good vacations a year out of the points that we purchased. My husband and I are still very wary at this moment, and those who have or remember having a toddler can imagine how frustrated we were. A fussy, sleepy, hungry child who has not eaten, and on top of this, a pushy salesman telling us that our vacation dreams could come true with Wyndham ownership. So we agreed to sign, and with the understanding that once we get out of there we could talk about it, and they told us that we could turn it around and sell it right back to them. Mr. Chernock told us that the entire signing process would take no more than 20 minutes. We waited over 30 minutes for them to prepare the paperwork. We signed a set of papers thinking that that was all. Then we were taken into another office and started signing a set of papers with a man named Monty Poe, which took another hour. Going through the paperwork, I asked questions, would stop and ask questions about certain documents, and was told that I would have time to read it at home. All of it was self-explanatory, and if I had any questions that I could always call the hotline for help. At no time did anyone explain the steps of canceling to us. At no point did anyone tell us that there would be any fees, let alone annual fees that would rise and be there for life even after paying off the loan. We spent from 12 o'clock noon to 7 p.m. that night, and among all these lies, I have found since out that the amount of points that we purchased would not even be a whole week at some of the locations that we talked about with Mr. Chernock. So I've left messages for him. I have sent him emails with no returns to my calls. We have not used our points. We have not been on a vacation through Wyndham. It's been almost 2 months and we want out. Wyndham is clearly a scam. I don't see how they can get away with intentionally telling these lies to people. I would not regret my decision with signing if the lies that they told us were the truth. But Wyndham Vacation Resort, specifically Panama City Beach, Florida, it violates good business practices. I believe and feel that we were victims of consumer fraud, being misled with deceitful trade practices, and should be able to cancel our contract and membership with Wyndham Vacation Resorts. I hope those watching will learn from my story.